guys, it's Kesara, and today I'm going to be doing a review for The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. So this book I actually went into with very low expectations because even though I really love the concept of this book, including this book, I've read 6 books by V.E. Schwab at this point. And honestly, this is the only one of those books I can say that I truly love. All the other books I either liked or actually really disliked. I didn't expect very much from this, but oh my gosh, this book was so good, guys. I absolutely love this. This is definitely one of those just really beautifully written, like, historical fantasy novels. It's following the character of Addie LaRue, who makes a sort of Faustian bargain to be immortal, but the catch is that everyone she meets will forget her, like within seconds. Like if they leave the room, they're going to immediately forget her. And she also cannot write down or tell people her name. She's invisible in things like photographs and stuff like that. So there's a lot going on to it. So basically she just can't be remembered at all. And this makes her life really difficult because she can't do things like stay at an inn because she'll pay for the room and then they'll forget that she paid for the room and then kick her out. So there are like a lot of like really interesting aspects of this novel that just really worked for me. She's from France in the 1700s, and by the time this book starts, she's lived about 300 years like this until she meets someone that actually remembers her. And there is a romance in there that I really liked. If you can't tell, I am really excited about this concept, but the execution of this book was just perfectly done. I loved the way the writing was done in this book. I think V.E. Schwab's writing style lends really well to this type of book, and if she writes more of these types of books in the future where it's like a little bit more historical with like hints of fantasy in it, then I think I could potentially really love them. Like this really worked for me in a way I wasn't expecting, and I ended up giving it 5 stars. Like always with my reviews, I'm going to be talking about 4 things: character, plot, world building, and writing style. So we're gonna start off with character. So the main character is Addie LaRue, of course. She has lived for like 300 years. I absolutely love her character because she's just this really independent woman, which you wouldn't really expect, but like it makes sense for her character, for what she does, for her to have like those traits, because at the beginning of the novel, she's like getting put into this arranged marriage and she decides to do this deal to kind of get out of that. And because of not being able to be remembered by people, she has to get to know people intimately really quickly in order to do things like have a bed to sleep on and get a meal, because she can't get a job, so she doesn't have a lot of money and she's kind of a thief. But at the same time, like it makes perfect sense that she's a thief because she's kind of put in this situation where she doesn't have any other choice. But she also learns a lot. She has this thirst for knowledge that I really love, and she learns not just from books but from people, from observing people, and just like the nuances of that really took me by surprise, and I really love that. Like Addie LaRue is just such a great character and fits perfectly in this story. I absolutely love that aspect of it, and I really think she was part of what made this book really work for me. There are 2 other kind of like main characters. There's Henry and Luke, and I don't want to go too much into those 2 characters because I feel like it'll give away spoilers, but I absolutely loved both of them. One of them is really precious and sweet, and the other one is kind of unlikable, but like in a cool way that I really liked. I liked the way their plot lines went in a really interesting way, and I just loved everything about the characters in this book. Next, we're gonna talk about plot. I feel like part of the reason why this book really worked for me is because it's the type of book that I don't really need the plot to do much for me to love it, because it's more character driven, it's more like a writing style and world building driven, if you know what I mean, than it is plot driven. But at the same time, it still has a significantly good plot that I really enjoy. Unlike most of V.E. Schwab's books that I've read that always leave me wanting more, still kind of had that aspect to it where there was kind of like a mystery and air to this that you didn't get all of the information. With this book, it really worked for me. I kind of liked that air of mystery that it had, and the ending just worked for me in a way that I wasn't expecting. Like I really liked the ending of this. Like literally, honestly, the entire book, like it follows 2 different plot lines. It follows Addie LaRue in the 1700s when she's younger, going through the years, and then it also has another plot line in 2014, and I love both of them. They both work really well for me. At first, I really liked the 2014 plotline more because the other one just felt a little bit more like backstory, and then some things start happening in the other one where I started liking that one a lot as well. And then of course we have to talk about world building. I kind of talked a little bit about the world building and kind of how her deal works and things like that. I enjoyed the world building. I enjoyed just like the nuances and the details of her deal and how that worked. And obviously she sold her soul. That really worked for me. I honestly didn't need too much world building from this book because it's set in our world. It's more of a historical setting, but at the same time, there is a level of magic in this that we get to know really well, and I like that aspect of it. Lastly, we gotta talk about writing style. And like I said earlier, I think V.E. Schwab's writing style is perfect for this type of book because she has really beautiful images and she writes in not an overly flowery way, but flowery enough. It just creates an atmosphere that works really well in this book, and I enjoyed that aspect of it. And like I said, this is not the type of book where I need heavy amounts of world building or heavy amounts of characterization or complex characters to really like it, because it works better to have a little bit simpler characters with more beautiful writing. It just, like I said, it just worked for this book. This book worked perfectly for me. I absolutely loved every second of this, and I ended up giving this 5 stars. If you guys have read this book, let me know down in the comments because I'd love to discuss with you guys. I post videos on Sundays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, so consider subscribing. And if you'd like to be notified as soon as I upload, you can click that little bell icon. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up to support my channel. All social media links are in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.